Hello there, guys. Welcome back to ShootOut. Welcome back to a brand new video. I'm here with myself and George as we go through what in the blue hell went down last night. Now, if you haven't already caught our last video, make sure you do. We'll leave a link for that right here, so have a look as we go over Chelsea and the possibility of a run, as well as Arsenal's hopes fading after their loss away at Fulham. Talking about that, George, how are you feeling? Where are you seeing this all go?
Do you know what? I've got to say this before we go into this Liverpool-Newcastle game, which was just a phenomenal second half of football. Like, what a title race. Like, it's actually mental. I think Liverpool have been so under the radar that the fact they're now top of the league makes it even more exciting for the narrative, because everybody was so like, it's Man City, and then Ange Postecoglou was doing good, so they were like, Tottenham are in it, Villa, because Villa are like the team that are never there, so it's cool, Arsenal, and then Arsenal have bottled it, as we talked about in the previous video. But like, Liverpool, at the moment, we've both said this, are the most complete team. So as a result of that, when it's a disjointed Premier League season where everyone's beating everybody, there are teams going on runs out of nowhere like your West Hams, your Bournemouths, teams falling off the face of the earth like Spurs losing 3 in a row, Arsenal winning 1 of their last 5. Liverpool just keep on going. They're like a flipping Swiss watch, mate. They're just doing it, aren't they? They just keep on ticking, and you know that it might be their time. 4-2 winners against Newcastle, massive win.
100%, they'll be up there. They'll be up there. And you mentioned one key thing there. They went under the radar. At a time when it was Man City, people talking about Arsenal, because I feel like there's a desperation for Arsenal to go on a title charge because it's been so long. They've not won it in 20 years. So with that, Aston Villa's rise, and a lot of focus was on them. Liverpool were just, under the radar. No pressure. Keep doing what you're doing, and boom, all of a sudden, they find themselves top. They're 3 points clear of Aston Villa. They could be 2 points clear if Man City do win their game in hand, but that's another point to mention. Man City, who went to the Club World Cup, right, where teams could have taken advantage. City have come back, and they've managed to get themselves back together again, because they were in a little bit of a bad patch of form. Now they're looking good, and they can still just end up 2 points behind Liverpool despite all of that. So it goes to show. I think it's going to be those two, and we'll see what Aston Villa do and what Arsenal do. But talking about Liverpool, what happened yesterday, man? That was unbelievable. What looked like it was going to be a lackluster, maybe 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, ended up being 4-2 because of a crazy bonanza second half. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the truth of the matter is, it's very simple. Mohamed Salah misses a penalty, changes his boots at half-time, and then comes out in the second half and takes Liverpool to victory. And I think, as much as we can talk about, like, Liverpool have gone under the radar in the context of the season, let's look at Mo Salah, 2 goals, 1 assist, wins the match for Liverpool if you were to pinpoint it on one thing. Mo Salah this season has got the most assists in the Premier League. He's the second or the joint top scorer in the league. Like, this guy is actually phenomenal. And like, when I actually think about the way I look at Salah in the context of Liverpool's season, I wouldn't say that Mo Salah's blown me away, because I think actually it's got to a point now where by default, these massive numbers and these like game-changing performances, even like half game-changing performances, for example, it's like you kind of expect it from Salah now, which basically just shows how incredible of a player he is and how pivotal he is to whatever Liverpool are trying to do. And I think the credit comes when you look at that Liverpool midfield. Curtis Jones, Endo, Szoboszlai, like against the Newcastle team, who have obviously had lots of injuries. They're in dreadful form themselves, but it's like Liverpool have been forced this season to completely change everything, because they got rid of an entire midfield that did win them a Premier League. They've brought in loads of new players. They've got some players in there like Curtis Jones. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a title-winning midfield player, but Jurgen Klopp, mate. Jurgen Klopp. He just knows what he's doing, doesn't he? He's just brilliant.
He does. He absolutely does. Now, you know what? You're spot on. And Salah goes a little... No, I wouldn't say under the radar. But funnily enough, this season, there's been people that have gone, oh no, Salah's not been good enough.
Yeah.
It just goes to show, if this is a season where he's not good enough, then bloody hell. I mean, I will take that. If this is bad form, then I don't want to know what good form is.
He's
Do you know
top
what I mean?
of the scoring charts, the assist charts, and his team are top of the league. Like, there's no argument that has to be said here that suggests that Salah's doing bad. Like, the people who say that are stupid. Like, actually,
it's
I don't
incredible.
care if you're offended by that. You're stupid. Sorry, but it's true.
This is the thing with Salah. I mean, look, he missed a penalty, and that's where I could see, especially online, everyone was going on one. But look at the reaction. He spoke after the game and said that at half time, even he was like, "Look, I'm about to go to AFCON after this, and this is how I'm going to leave. No, this is a joke." And as you said, it's like he changes his boots. He comes out in the second half, and he's like, "That's it. I'm going into beast mode." And Jurgen Klopp. This is the point that I wanted to mention, that I don't feel like someone like Arteta at Arsenal can do. With the ability to change a game in this manner, Klopp, those substitutions are what won the game as far as I'm concerned. He made those changes in midfield and it transformed everything for Liverpool. Gakpo as well as Curtis Jones, and you look at the impact that they had for the second and the third goal. That's on Jurgen Klopp. That's a game changer, and that's what you get when you have an elite manager at the helm, man. That's what wins you titles. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's the difference, and I think that's why. Like, I think when you mentioned Man City and how like they've had the Club World Cup, they missed the weekend of football, they played a game less or whatever, yet they still seem to be like making ground compared to what we thought they were doing because they weren't playing that well and they were dropping points left, right, and centre. I think. The reason I put Liverpool right now in my head as the title favourites to win this league is because I still think that we haven't seen the best of what the players they currently have can offer. You could argue that the same could be said for Man City because Haaland's been out of the fray a little bit. You know, like, is there a way where Pep Guardiola can quickly find that balance where losing Mahrez and having Doku makes them a bit exciting to watch, but like isn't quite like cohesive as a glued unit. I think with Liverpool, it's the same thing. Like, I think players like Szoboszlai, who's got so much ability, is impacting games and playing well. But I'm like, I still don't think they've necessarily found the right area of the pitch for him to operate in, if that makes sense. Even players like Endo, like, are actually proving to be fantastic signings because he is defensively astute. He's scored a couple of worldies as well, if we just like keep it surface. Like, I think Liverpool is still a team learning about themselves as well, but it's just the fact they keep getting results. I think they're going to get better and better. I don't know what they're going to do in the January transfer window, but I don't see any flaws right now in this Liverpool team, really. They're still not defensively brilliant, but they score so many goals, which when you look at that lineup, you know, you've got Salah, Núñez, Diaz. Off the bench, you've got Cody Gakpo, McAllister, Jota, like so many quality attackers that can score goals all the time in a system that is tried and trusted, changed, adapted and growing. Like, they're just very good. Like, it's annoying, but they're very good.
I mean, you've nailed onto something quite important there, and that's the fact that I feel like there's decent amount of depth in that Liverpool team, in midfield and attacking areas, weirdly enough. When you look at the way that the game was going, and you could see Liverpool need goals, right? But what does Jurgen Klopp do? He takes off Núñez and he takes off Diaz.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He takes them both off, and it does transform the game, and it does get them to score goals, and it gets them to score goals through, well, you have Curtis Jones, you have Gakpo coming on and getting the job done. Diogo Jota coming on and getting the job done. It just goes to show the impact that they can have off the bench. McAllister coming on later on as well. It's just the depth in midfield and attacking areas, whilst it also, in times, I don't know, it depends on the patterns and the way that the players are moving or who's on the pitch, but for Mohamed Salah to get the best out of himself as well. It's just a testament to what they have, the depth that they have, the options that they have available, and Jurgen Klopp as a whole. And this is why I'm pretty certain that Liverpool will be pushing Manchester City all the way, and they'll be in the title race, I think, all the way till the end, all the way to the final day. So,
yeah. So who are you going to say is going to win it? Like, Now that we're here, like this is something that we can change all the time. Like we can't be clipped up and say, "Oh, you got it wrong." Like the Premier League is so tight this season. Like next weekend, we might think Aston Villa are going to win it just because the FA Cup's been on and we forgot about it. And we look at the table, and we're like, "Oh bloody hell, look at Villa up there." But who do you think is going to win it? If you had to say right now, I think Liverpool are going to win.
Yeah. Do you reckon? I mean, I'll give it to Aston Villa. Unai Emery.
Let's go.
Claret and Blue Army. No, you know what? I'll be honest.
Bro, you know Scrabble? You know, like if you get rid of all of your tiles, you get a bonus 50 points. I reckon when it comes to the Premier League prediction scoreboard that we have, which you're absolutely destroying me on, if one of us gets the call right from this video to the end of the season, we should get a bonus 50 points. What do you reckon? You reckon Villa are going to win it?
Oh, is this your hope to get back into the race? Yeah, you're running like Arsenal, mate.
I'm trying to make the rules up as I go along. To be honest, I'm like Man United in Fergie time 10 years ago. Like I'm just trying to have my own rule book just to give myself the best chance of winning. I just do think Liverpool will win. Personally,
I'll be honest. I'm going to give it to City. I do feel like it. All the way, right? I feel like Man City are just going to turn it on, and when they turn it on, you know, they've just got everything in their favour. But I do think Liverpool will come really, really close, and I do honestly think that right now, the way it's looking, Aston Villa are on course to get top 4. So look, we'll see. But there is one point that I want to mention. We've been giving Liverpool the praise and whatnot, but I've got to give one criticism here, and it's a big one. It doesn't really reflect on Liverpool, but what in the blue hell was that call for the penalty in the second half?
Oh, good Lord. And VAR actually give it as well?
They gave it. I'm sorry. But when I see that, right, I have to question. I'm not saying this is what's happened, but I think it's an option. It's on the table. Was that corruption? I was like, I don't see how you can give a penalty after a blatant dive like that. Anthony Taylor gives it. He should have seen it. But then it goes to VAR and they give it?
I mean, that Anthony Taylor getting anything wrong is not a surprise to anybody because that man is fit enough to referee his own game between his two thumbs in his kitchen table, between a pound coin and his two fingers. Like, that's fine.
Mate, you couldn't ref a kid's game. Yeah.
No, he couldn't. No, that's a more relative example. But like, all in all, there's been a few decisions that have been made in recent games. And like, I actually bring it back to the Chelsea-Newcastle Carabao Cup game, where actually, in terms of like being able to praise a refereeing performance, that was worthy of praise. That was managed really well because there's no VAR, because the referees have to think for themselves and they don't have this comfort blanket, which actually, in the grander scheme of the footballing conversation, isn't a comfort blanket because the blanket is made out of flipping pineapple skin. That's the truth. Like, it's damaged goods. It's harming the game because it's taken away from the spontaneous nature of what makes football so exciting. And it's also, human error is at the forefront of it, yet it's supposed to be a technological advance that's helping us. But it's still humans controlling it, and these humans are actually not intelligent enough and understanding of the rules. And just like, I don't know, it's like someone's put contact lenses in, which gives them no vision. So it's not a contact lens. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how many
100%
analogies I can use before we all just realise that the standards are just beyond shocking, or it's corruption. But I don't want to go down that path. I just think, all in all, that no one knows what they're doing. They really don't.
It's shocking, and why I say that is because I don't see any other explanation. Do you know what I mean? Unless if everyone's just stupid. But if you're stupid, how in the blue hell did you get to that position in the first place? It just doesn't add up. When we look to yesterday, right? Yesterday is a perfect example of why VAR, the technology, is not the problem. Because in a world where VAR doesn't exist, yesterday Anthony Taylor would have given that penalty regardless.
Yeah.
And it would have just gone to the spot and it would have been taken and Liverpool would have scored, right? Simple as that. And that would have been a controversy in and of itself. But yesterday we have Anthony Taylor who gives it. So that's one big blunder, as usual. And then it goes to VAR. And then the people behind the screens and behind the tech are looking and going, yeah, good decision, Anthony. We're giving that. What? It's absolutely insanity. So for people that are saying, and I sympathise with the ones that say, let's just scrap VAR, don't want it. I sympathise, I get it. But it's the people behind the tech that are the problem, and it's the referees across the spectrum that are the problem, and it's the PGMOL that don't take action when we see things like this that are the problem. That's what needs to be addressed, and until we do get competent people behind the screens and on the pitches, with or without VAR, we're going to be seeing craziness like we saw yesterday. I couldn't believe a dive like that was given by VAR. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it, man. It's shocking. Absolutely shocking.
I mean, I think, to conclude my opinion, I think PGMOL, it's got to a point now where actually protecting referees, because they are aware that they've made so many errors and there's so many questionable offences to like the misuse of this technology and wrong decision making. I think it's got to a point now where it's gone way too far. There are too many examples that bring its relevance to the game into question. So there's now more of like a protective, we won't say anything, we won't do anything, because otherwise, like, we need to have like a extended transfer window of referees. Like, we need to bring in like aliens who know what they're doing, and these guys can all just like, you guys just go over there, like, you're redundant, but like, we'll give you a payoff. Like, it's okay. You're not very good a referee, and you're not very good at your job, but like, we need something else. Like, I just think overall, they're protecting the fact that overall they've just screwed this whole thing. Really
that is, I think, a key. I think that's a key point here. You know, I think we've seen examples when they release the recordings and then they have to explain, and you see that the main cause and the main reason as to why they do these things is because they want to protect the feelings of the referee that's made the decision. You know, I'm like, listen, if this is what it's coming down to, I'm sorry, but get rid of that referee. They're not fit enough. It's as simple as that. You shouldn't be able to protect the referee based on feelings. You should be protecting the referee based on decision. Do you know what I mean? And if he's got it wrong, he's got it wrong. It's as simple as that. You call it by the letter of the law and by the book. And if we're not doing that, then what are we doing? Just everyone needs to get scrapped. It's as simple as that. So I don't understand why we're letting sentiment get it through the door. And I guarantee if we get the recording of this decision come through maybe in 3 or 4 weeks' time, we're probably going to hear some stupidness on the recording go, Anthony, he's called a pen here. Oh, mate, I think we've got to protect him here. I think we've got to protect him. He's made a blunder here, but we can't backtrack and make him look stupid. Give the penalty. Anthony, give it. I think he touched him. Give it. Where's the popcorn? We're going to hear something stupid. Do you know what I mean? So, look, we'll see what happens. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below about yesterday's VAR madness and the penalty decision. But overall, fair play Liverpool. Credit to Jurgen Klopp, especially. Credit to Mohamed Salah. And Liverpool are well and truly in that title race for sure. Final thoughts?
No, I think you're spot on, mate. They're leading it right now until Man City go on this run that they undoubtedly will, but I'm still backing Liverpool to win the league.
We'll see who's going to end up right come end of the season. But make sure you're here for all the content as it drops, as we do make sure that we give you everything that we want to give you from now up until the end of the season for sure. Make sure you're subscribed, and me and George will catch you later on.
In a bit,
people.